Boom, live. Guys, today we have a special person here. The son was already here. Today we have the father. Uh, James, welcome to the show. The Darnell
LS
family.
LS Tapario, I'm ready for my drum lesson.
Let's
And-
hear
Anybody ever tell you you look a little bit like you could be his father?
it.
You know
Yeah.
who I'm talking about, right? He's a crazy good drummer out of Spain or Portugal, maybe.
Oh yeah, my friend. You are talking one of the best
Yeah,
drummers of the world.
yeah. I'm sure you've seen one of his videos. He's got
I see him a lot. I follow him a lot, and he's one of the best. And lots of people don't understand how good he is.
definitely with just like UCs, man. With putting in the time, putting in the practice. I know I've seen the guys at Intro to Speed on Roger's video. They're out there like every night putting in,
let
or every Friday
let's
night
start
putting in the time.
let's start from the beginning, my friend. I
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
start from the beginning. First of all, how do you came to this world, the PVs? What do you have any background of skating or any other sport? Tell us a little more about the James,
yeah.
the putter.
I guess
There's
like any kid in the '70s, we had bikes and ramps and skateboards with crappy wheels and
Mhm.
totally different than anything that anyone's seeing these days. But we'd makeshift ramps, that sort of thing. Got into dirt bikes. My dad taught me how to ride when I was a young teenager and helped me get my first enduro. But I mean, all that stuff was just hobbies. Even growing up, I had exposed Zach, and he's got an older daughter. I mean, a older sister, Brittany.
Mhm.
Exposed them to riding dirt bikes. My wife Kim even knows how to ride a little bit. But then eventually those things kind of faded away, and these crazy EUCs came into our lives. And it wasn't until I was just about to turn 50, and I was getting ready for a party during the window of COVID where we could actually have some people over for a little bit. I was going to have this big 50th birthday,
Mhm.
and Zach's friend was in Cirque du Soleil. He had an EUC, and his friend Larson had some one wheels. So they're like, "Hey, try!" And I'm like, "Oh, cool, that's awesome." I'm like, "What the hell?" And I was actually able to get up on this wonkety UC and ride it around like right away. And they're like, "Oh, you got to come with us, and we're gonna do a group ride." And I'm like, "Ah, I gotta get ready for this party and stuff." And then I realized, my friends only care if the beer is cold. They don't care if I got like landscaping that looks perfect. So let's go, right? And we did this like kind of a life changing trip around our local lake. Stopped and got some tacos and beer, and just I saw the camaraderie, and there were some people that were riding UCs there that I don't know. They just seemed a little bit more capable because of the bigger tire. And then the very next morning, I bought an MCM5 on Amazon, and Zach Zach had just bought, I think it was a V11 at the time, and I eventually grew into that. And I remember thinking how, man, I'm never gonna get used to riding a wheel this big.
That means that you started as first, or he started as first, your son. You-
Technically, he was first. Technically, he was first. I mean, and he was doing longboard stuff for a few years too, and we got like a lot of great hills, like I live on the foothills of the Sierra Nevada mountains, so between the flatlands of California and then up towards Lake Tahoe. So you go one way and you got mountains, and you go another way, you got like really great flat bike trails and stuff. So, fortunate we've got the best of both worlds, and obviously really great weather. So, uh, between following Zach and this guy named Chance Hines, uh, around on the hills. And granted, I'm on this MCM5, and they're on maybe RSs or
Mhm.
something, maybe the V11, something like that. And I mean, I'm really struggling to keep up. and Chance is like, "Oh yeah, don't worry, it'll make it through this stuff." And so he was the one who kind of got us all, into the
Don't you
offer.
think that is a good thing for you as a father today? We talk in private about that, and I have some questions for the fathers like me, uh, uh, who wants to make bring the kids to this sport. How can we incentivize the kids, because the kids wants computers, wants games and everything? How can we change, like you change your son, because today your son is one of the champions. You are always there. Everybody
Yeah,
has a big special love for you and for your son. How
thank you.
can we do, how can we make bring this message to our kids, to take him out of the rooms and out of
Yeah,
this phones always in his hands, and
I get it. I get it. It's difficult to compete with everything else that's out there to get their attention. And I mean, I guess be more persistent and and fund them screen time. I don't know how else to put it. Just try to keep staying involved in their lives and as much common interests, right? I mean, you know, in between all of these other PEVs, snowboarding was a pretty big draw since
Mhm.
we're you know uh, within an hour to drive to several ski resorts. So um, as much common interest as you can have with your kids to keep it going. I struggled more with his sister because she was a competitive cheerleader. So and now as a professional makeup artist, it's like it's like uh what do we talk about? She doesn't want to talk about EUCs and
uh,
mechanical stuff that I'm interested in.
let me put let me ask you like this, for us not to lose do you just try the AUCs? Do you try any other PVs, any electric, like one wheels, like electro skateboards, scooters? Do you have the pleasure to try them, and or why AUCs?
Yeah, good question. I've tried everything at least once, even those TST, the three wheel Y- Yilian from Israel invented. I don't know if you've ever
Mhm.
seen those.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. Of course, my friend. I was here in the interview.
sure, sure, yeah, definitely. Those are pretty interesting. Everything's kind of got its own pros and cons, and I recently bought one of the extreme wheel electric dirt bike
Mm.
things, crashed it in at TEF1 Atlantic, broke it right away, but still raced it. I've enjoyed riding regular motorcycles, street motorcycles and stuff during the before EUCs, but the latter portion of my adult life, and the wife still enjoys. Still asks about, hey, when can we hop on the back one of those and go for a ride? But uh, we taught her how to ride a UC. So a lot of times it's, hey, let's get on one of these trails and go to have dinner or something in our
It's
own
easier
area.
the AUC to take it everywhere. To I think this is the most commute machine that we have to go to everywhere, because
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
easy.
I mean, out of everything, it seems to be the most versatile and probably one of the most efficient as far as
I think too.
individual
I agree.
transportation.
Please don't think we hate anything. We just communicate. There is direct the people who loves the one wheels or the people who love the skateboards. I don't have. I love my skateboard. I love my one wheels, but I think we have to think carrying a one wheel is not easy. It's very
Yes.
heavy. A skateboard is the same. It's very heavy because of the big batteries. And with the AUC, you just have the troller and just have to go. And it's so easy for you to do
The
everything.
one wheel, it seemed really easy to tip sideways, and landing on that flat metal bar,
Mm-hmm.
like I just kept picturing like
Mm,
my my collarbone breaking like almost everybody who rides TUCs competitively or one wheels. Um, yeah, I should give some of these a little bit more of a try. Zach just bought an e-scooter, um,
Oh,
also from Extreme. It's these things are insane. It's
uh-huh.
just they have so much power, so much torque. It's super
I'm going
fun,
to
but
buy, like you talk, I'm going to buy the TLT board. I think
TLC,
this guy,
yes.
I think that machine, I was with a pleasure to interview. I know that's going to bring something new for the people who never see it. I think that way is easy for us to show just a little for you to know what we are talking about.
There it
Uh,
is.
and I think this as a place in the mark uh, is fun, and I think it's one of the things I'm going to buy it. To,
And another example of a PEV family.
yeah,
They show up to all the events, at least on the West Coast in the
and
U.S. I mean,
they
I've
are
seen them from Oregon down through Las Vegas and California.
and they are very nice. They are very humble, and they are always there. As not as they are so nice, the kids, family, and everything. The idea of it always you have the chance to motorize electric or with gas. How
Mhm.
do you want to choose it? And I think as a place is something new for all of us.
Yeah,
But and I was very surprised. I never try it. I know that lots of guys, friends of me, try it in USA, and they say, Nelson, that is amazing. That is like something for you to have so much fun, and we need
get
fun.
get the electric one, figure out the throttle, and lean forward. That's all I can say. But
Do you try it?
it's oh yeah. I tried it at Let It Ride in the deserts outside of Henderson, Nevada.
Was
Near
good, huh, my friend? Before we go, I want to share something for all of you. You are coming now. I want to say, everybody, thank you so much for coming and support James. We are going to put then some of the message. There is lots of riders coming. If you have any questions to James, please leave it in the comments, and we're going to try to answer them. But I want to talk about something that James is going to talk about. So you have the YouTube channel. Tell us a little more. What is going to be the future of this new YouTube channel from you? I'm going to leave the link there for you guys later.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So the phone I've got right now is overloading to the brim, and I know that I've got stuff backed up on the cloud, but I really just need to do a phone dump, and I've got gems of EUC events and races and just crashes, award ceremonies,
Fun stuff.
just a lot of really good stuff that I know a lot of you would be really interested in seeing. Um, Perspectives of the race that the live streams didn't have, and things like that. Um, a lot of it's just snippets. I'm just gonna dump it all up there, uh, Roger EUC style, if you know what I mean, and
That's what we
let you
need, my
all
friend.
go through it, and I'll tag as much as I can so that you're aware of like where you are in a lot of these, because a lot of this is content of you all. So
I think it's going to be very good. Thank you so much for creating. I hope to see more and more of this content. I'm the 28th subscriber, and please, that is very new, very fresh. Let's go to 1,000.
it's an
That way,
exclusive club, Nelson. You're one of the first.
I just want to say, go there, subscribe to his channel. I think it's important. Don't forget that that is the electronic machine, the YouTube. More people that subscribe, give a nice like, and of course, leave your comment. Is going to be more. The people is going to be receive more and more content from them. That way, we can grow this sport bigger and bigger. How more you go to the channels of the PVs and help the person is making the content, I think that way we grow this community, this world for all of us. I think what you are doing is important. Thank you so much for starting. I think you have lots of content, and I'm going to be waiting and waiting for the videos for all of us, because I think now is we are changing a lot. My friend, putting this question, you have a son that race, but you have lots of friends, and you are a person who likes to race too. How do you
Yes.
seeing now the changing, the more races, more events? Do you think? I see that you have a T-shirt with you. I heard something about that they're going to stop doing events. Is that true or not?
They did Electrify Race did down the number of events that they're going to do this year. Unfortunately,
Uh-huh.
we are actually. I just got my Blitz Pro back together,
Ooh,
um, and then we got Zach's charging over here.
that is the
And
the paradise.
yes, yes. So we got the X-Way 168 volt, that in motion crazy insane scooter, the extreme wheel. We got something secret from an emotion that's about to be released. Uh, some more Begode high power stuff. V14, V9, another X-Way 168 volt, couple of minis. Uh, can anyone guess what wheel this one is?
That is the commander.
Nope,
That is the oh, that is the extreme or something like that.
nope,
What is that? Oh, wait a second. That is the oh my god, emotion, the 14,
nope.
V14, no,
It's a
no.
Begode. It's a Begode.
Oh, big goat, the T4.
Nope. It's a 168 volt wheel.
Ooh, ooh, that is nice. What are you change it in there?
I printed all new covers and everything. The front bearings. I mean, I
That
pretty much
that
stripped it
means that it's
down.
all DIY from you.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that is nice. That's
The
it.
bamboo.
Oh, the bamboo. I have it too.
Then the other
Machine.
garage is more of a machine shop.
Do you fix
Here's
everything yourself?
most of our awards and stuff
Oh.
there. Sex.
Which one is from Papa? Which one is from the son?
Most of them are from Zach. Actually, I do have a lot, but they're like I'm undefeated at ABS, for example, 3 years in a row. But it's amateur classes and sportsmen. So I'm not, if I make it into the pro class, that's kind of my goal, right? Uh, Competing in the finals against people that I know are super good and at Zach's level, that's enough for me. Um, for Zach, of course, he wants to go and win, and I get that. So
Do you think we're going to see more events, more races in the future, or do you think
yeah,
do
yeah. Back to your original question, I think that we're at a point where there's a lot more really good riders coming up, and there's a lot more events to choose from. So people have to be a little bit more selective, and not as many people that ride street are going to be going to all the dirt events, and vice versa. Um, I enjoy doing both, so you'll see us pretty much at all of these. Um, I mean, we just bought a travel trailer, and so we don't
Ooh.
have to rough it as much and stay at Airbnbs. Although that is sometimes even more fun than the events, is just getting together with a lot of people in the community and camping
I
out before and after.
I have to put something here that the people ask. Let's see if I find it here. Let's go here. Let's go and change it. And that is a recap for you guys to see it. Somebody ask. Let's see what happens. Do you crash a lot, my friend?
Oh, um, is this the seated race at
Yes.
Shredfest now? Okay. Um, I seem to be lately. The wheels, the I've been over twerking the bliss pro.
Ooh, what happened
That
here?
that was a seated race, and I guess I took it serious.
Ah,
D-
that's
Doug
why they
Marsh,
call you the Crash Man.
yeah, yeah. Doug Marshall was out in front, and he was
Uh-huh.
kind of goofing off, eating a sandwich. And
Hmm.
I'm like, I can't let him win like that. So I leaned in and uh,
You said
beat him
let's.
beat him to the finish line. But they had like these cones we were supposed to go through right
Okay,
before, so the somebody else got the first place anyway. But it looked like I beat him, and
let's see it.
uh,
Let's see
if
it.
you
Let's see
notice,
it.
if you notice here, they really didn't have this section of the, because it
Oh
was
man.
kind of,
And
they
why the
kind of,
people are in the middle of the way?
that's what I'm saying. For the regular races, they did a really good job, like roping everything off and making sure they had people that kept people off the track. And for some reason, I'm like, you know, Douglas
Wow.
looks over his left shoulder as I'm leaning in to try to pass him on the left, and uh, he starts to lean or drift to his left as he's looking over to see me,
Yeah, I see it.
and
Yeah, you can see it.
and it kind of squeezes me towards the crowd,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't know if we made contact or if it was just like, holy crap, I'm going to run into all these people, but
Yeah.
it was like I needed to get my ass from leaning really far forward to leaning really far back, and I couldn't do it fast enough. And
Wow.
I'm just thankful that nobody got hurt because I'm doing this with a bunch of gear on, and there's a bunch of people in the crowd, like this guy here with his daughter on a one wheel.
Uh-huh.
Go, he's probably shitting his pants right now. You know,
100%, my friend.
he's like, I need to protect my kid right now, right? And
Oh
you know
man,
the
that
the
is crazy.
wheel, so hey kids, wear your helmet. The, even with a $600 Fox off-road helmet, full face, I still had a concussion the next day.
Yeah, I believe you, my friend.
The
I
the
believe you.
pedal the pedal or something on the wheel hit me on the head, and you just can't predict what you're going to hit when you fall. So no
What is
matter
the
how
best
fast you're going,
advice for you, my friend? Let's do the two. I don't know how old are you, but I'm not so young. What
I'm
is the best
54,
advice? 54. Then we are close, the two of us. Uh, 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 Tell me
and I
something. I'm
and I
51.
recycle.
uh, Tell me what is the best advice when you fall like that. W-
Try not to
They,
put your arms out.
yeah, that
Right.
is one of the big mistakes, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Most of the time with it, that I've gotten seriously injured, it's because I tried to stop the ball rather than tuck into it. Um, if you're talented enough, like Roger and some of those guys, to slide on your hands and knees, then by all means, master that method. But yeah, we ride on dirt a lot, so it's like a lot of times it's do whatever you can to avoid the obstacle, the tree, the rocks, the cliff, that sort of stuff. um and
but
yeah.
but but James, for you as a rider, for me, what I learned because I learned in my way. I don't know if that is the right
Mhm.
way. When I was racing with motorcycles and motocross, they always tell me that you have to play like that, or like you are drunk. Let it fall and let your body free. Don't
Yeah,
try
just
to
go limp.
compensate. Yes, don't try to compensate it, because that way you're going to make, and has helped me a lot. But with skateboarding, electro skateboarding, I think that is another thing, because like you told, the hands is always, because we don't have, is always the hands the first thing we're going to, and that's why there is so many injuries with hands and shoulders. That is the
Yeah.
first thing we always have, because the people always try to go and then push everything, and then I think that is
Yeah.
one thing. I think playing dead or playing in a safe zone is going to be better, but that is advices that I cannot tell 100%, because that later on they can say that is our fault because we tell them to do like that. Each one of you I have to see the best way to do it. Uh,
Sure, sure. The
my
other
friend,
thing I would say is spend as much on gear as you would on a wheel.
yeah, that is that one friend for me in Germany. In Germany, he's from Netherlands, and he said, "Nelson, I don't understand the people spend so much money in a machine, and then when it comes to gear and helm, they buy the most not affected one. They
Yeah,
just do okay, 20 dollars is enough, and most of the
right.
time is the thing that you have to expend more money
Yeah,
to take care
like
of you.
like like this one looks cool.
Uh-huh.
I don't want to ne- denegate the logo,
Never. I
but
never going to
you
use
know,
that one.
you know.
Never.
Um, but this one is what you want to, you
Yes.
know,
It's like me,
or
my friend.
or
This
or
one is
Zach's.
very yeah. My friend is like me. This one is very beautiful,
Hmm.
but safety is zero.
Yeah, yeah.
This is
Like
very good
this,
for you to take a picture.
yeah, like exactly. Like the one that Zachary won at
Yeah.
at the race in China. Sign that. Everyone from Begode signed it, and we got it hanging on the wall. We're not going to wear that. It's just not.
Not safe.
I mean,
No, no,
yeah,
my friend. It's not.
yeah. There's
We have to think. If you get in injury, my friend, it's your life,
mhm.
and I think that
So
is like your crash. If you was not good protected, the injuries could be very bad, my friend.
yeah, yeah, and most of my injuries, serious injuries, came from lower speed crashes. So
Yeah,
don't think just, oh, I'm only going to be going 10, 15 miles per hour. Or, I don't need to wear whatever. Yeah, anything can happen. You can get a cutout, and when
and we
that
know that.
happens, you're just going to slam down onto the ground. You're not going to slide, and that sometimes causes more. That's how I broke my humerus,
Mhm.
and you know, when you
We
need
have, we
surgery
have,
and
we
you get
we have
plates
our
and
scar.
screws and all that stuff, then it's like, oh, this is like, it's been 14 months and I still can't lift my arm above my head all the way.
You
You
have
know,
your left.
it's
I have my right.
there you go. Uh,
Then we can go together.
Erwin Green is in our club too, so
Oh, there
Cobra.
is a lot, and we're
Yeah,
going to see more and more. My friend, I want to make some questions. You are a person who fix your machines, all of them.
100%. I mean, I've got probably some would consider uh, something that needs treatment as far as modifying my wheels. I can't leave them stock. Um, it's something I'll maybe seek treatment for, but I don't know. It seems like every little thing that we can do to these to give us an edge is worth doing. Um, I'm not writing my own firmware or anything like that, but I would be willing to dig in and do some of that, and I think that's going to be required in the future um, to to get any sort of advantage. But just taking them apart and making sure that everything's tightened. Uh, had an issue at Shredfest this last weekend where I went through Zach's wheel and changed his tire for him so that he can go ahead. He was running a lot of the EUC courses,
Hmm.
so he went ahead to the event, and I said, "Don't worry, I'll go through your wheel and I'll put a new Shinko 241 on it." And I actually go through the the process of balancing the tire. I made
Okay.
a little jig here,
Okay, you
and
balance like me. Okay, you have the machine to balance too. Okay,
yeah, yeah.
that is important, my friend.
I removed the motor to do that to
Uh-huh.
get it down to the bearings, and then I essentially do a static balance.
Do you
And
have a background of mechanic or motorcycles or something like that? Because that is something that we make with the motors before.
my dad built and raced race cars during the early part of his life, so I was
Okay,
exposed to a lot of racing sort of tips and tricks and things like that.
because it's not lots of
When I
people
was
know
really
that.
young,
That is important.
And even as like I remember at 5, 6 years old taking my bike apart down to the bearings and cleaning it with kerosene, packing them with grease, and putting it, lining it all back up on a towel and putting it all back together in the same
Mm-hmm.
order,
Mm-hmm.
and then racing my friends up and down the street.
Yeah, yeah.
As so I was always kind of into, hey, take it apart and make sure everything is good, and then put it back together, right? And this time, I don't know if it was just burning the midnight oil, or I think the bearing didn't seat 100%, or I was torquing it with too long of a Allen wrench, like one of
Mm-hmm.
these guys, and
Okay.
they're they're like really long, and I think it just didn't give enough torque on the motor bolts. Long story short, he had an issue in the race. He still got first place, but on one of his time trial attempts, his motor actually, the cover actually separated. All those bolts fell out. So either we didn't use enough torque or enough Loctite, but it was a learning lesson that,
Yeah, that is important. I
you
think that
know,
is important for us to always learning. I just want to say, because I think
but
there is
as,
lots of
but
yeah,
Nelson,
please.
imagine as a father, you let your
Yes,
you let your kid down like that in something that's super important to both of you.
but I think you
You know
never
what I
let
mean?
your
So,
son down. What I listen about you, my friend, I think you do a lot for your son, and I think you are always very, very. Sometimes mistakes happen. We are humans. We are not robots. Robots, they make mistakes too. Imagine us as that can happen. But before we continue, I want to say, first of all, for the people are coming now to the live, thank you so much for coming to support James. I'm just going to put some of them. A Ride Live,
hey,
Stervo,
Seth.
then Roger is telling here, James and Zach are racing this weekend.
Yeah,
I feel a bit,
yeah,
a bit, je-
yeah.
bitty.
We're gonna drive down to the port of Los Angeles and race in a parking lot against Roger and a bunch of other really fast street racers.
Uh, I'm going to ask you like this. Do you think what you are seeing now, the machines that are coming up, do you upgrade something else in your machines, or you always leave it inside original?
Yeah, like I said, almost everything is modified. As far as the internals, I'm not doing too much unless it's needed.
Uh-huh.
Um, you know, um, I guess it depends on the wheel. I mean, some of them had shortcomings that you needed to do some things, and where like I think something like a God mod made sense. I think a lot of the current
Really, brandy yellow.
within the last few years, the manufacturers I think have caught up
Hello, Zach.
to the demands of what we're putting on these. Um, and even the global race in China was a little bit of an eye opener for some of the companies, and as far as what people from around the world uh, are pushing them, to those limits, right?
I think Zach Darnell is telling, when I grow, I'm going to be. I want to be like James.
you,
My friend, I think. Do you think going to China as was very good for the Chinese, or for the companies from China to listen to the feedback from you guys? And because I know that was a race, but I know that is important for them to have all of you guys there and have listen to that feedback. Do you think that was a good thing
sure,
for them to learn a little more with the mistakes and see what they can upgrade? Do you think that was a good chance for them to listen to the voice of the riders?
sure. For example, we were at a tour at the Emotion Factory, and they're doing like a presentation thing, and they showed a video. And at one point of the process, they showed the Loctite thread locker being installed, and
Oh,
everyone in the room started cheering. So it was like, okay, we got to focus on quality.
yeah.
We got to make sure that these things stay together. Um, So I think it was a combination of that, and we did a lot of group rides and just had a lot of chance for one-on-one conversations with the people that are making our dreams come true. If you think about
Yeah, seeing that, I think that was epic for lots of people to go there to China. For me, I was very happy to see people representing from the world being there to say to them what you
it.
can do, what is wrong,
Yeah,
what you can upgrade. I think before was just this message of YouTube, guys sending message, and in this moment was you guys personally there showing, okay, that is great, but we can do something else. And for you, my friend, being there was an experience for you to see or upgrade the things what you do at your home with your machines. Did
yeah.
you?
Well, at that event, we really didn't have really much opportunity to modify the wheels, and most most people did not ship their own personal wheels to
Mhm.
the race. They purchased a wheel or raced one of their loaner pool wheels. So they had some X-ways and some blitzes that you could, they just had a number on them. It didn't have your name and commemorative little logo thing. Um, those wheels were kind of, if it's available, you can use it. Even the ones we purchased, Zach and I brought some tires that we prefer to use and paid the factory to install them, um, which was probably about $17 we ever spent to change a wheel. Uh, and so other than changing the tire and maybe bringing in your own pads or something like that, you know, you were racing a stock wheel at that event, and you're at the, you know, I recall there being a firmware update issue the morning of the road race, and people's wheels were bricked, and
Yeah.
so there's a lot of commotion, uh, about that. But um, when you can modify your wheels, and if you can just make sure your suspension's tuned just right, and everything's set up, then you got the right tire for that track, and it makes it safer and more pleasant.
Do you think? For me, my friend, I think that there is some things here that people are. I think is important for us. We're going to see in the future the team Darnell.
I
Is
did
something that we're
start.
going to
I did
because
start.
he's already here. Team Darnell.
Yeah, yeah. So kind of in honor of my dad, they used to call him the Whiz because he'd come up with
Okay.
all kinds of just wizard like fixes and solutions to stuff. Um, so I did create a Whiz Rides logo, and it was like a wizard riding an EUC. Um, I don't know, right? I think it at some point we'll do something. I feel like I'm already helping to support and fund, even if I don't have a logo. So,
My friend,
uh,
I will buy the first T-shirt or the first jersey just for me to put it here. I'm very proud to bring from France and always have something special. And will be a problem to have your family here. I think are doing a fantastic job for the community. Uh, so
that
I listen.
that would be
There is
awesome.
another
Thank you.
that was another person who write here. The people are always you have more you have more
Hey, here we are.
oh we days that I'm seeing in television, we are in television, guys.
Yeah, we're famous.
So I think everybody's enjoying having here James to talk a little more. I think is important for all of us, but
Uh, I just want to do
let's see.
some
You have
shameless
more
plugs.
podiums before we continue. You got more podiums than Zenly.
That I don't know. I
Your
don't.
son just tell it, huh? Zach just tell.
Uh, I know Zach does. Let's leave it at that. Let's leave it at that.
Do you think the
But
competition now is
I
coming?
I do need one of your stickers though. So
I will send it to you, my friend. I will going to
yeah,
send you something very special.
I don't see one. Yeah, I get
I'm going to give you something. I'm going to send for the all of you. No limits to ride is for you to understand. No limits to ride is us. No limits to ride was made for the community. That don't represent me. I just made the name, and the idea is for the close to 400 persons that came to this live stream is made
wow.
this. Yes, my friend, you are the 300
To see Mika.
92 interview. So for the close to 400 interviews we have here, that made this channel the voice of the riders. That is not my channel. That is the channel from all of us. I don't win nothing with this. I just want us to go to the right direction. And if we have the chance, I'm a cook and I'm a driver. I want to have fun and I want to see you guys, your family, doing good stuff for all of us. That is the important thing. That's why I'm going to wait for your YouTube videos. I think it's going to bring lots of good stuff.
And I love the fact that you and Chrissy are bringing people outside of the mainstream PEB community, giving
We
them
have to, my friend.
kind of a
We have to do
spotlight
it.
and exposure. And there's a lot of great personalities out there in this community. A lot of great people that are worth meeting and worth listening to. So
That's why
thank
we
you.
are going to bring two more persons to the live streams to make interviews because that is not just me. I don't want to be just me. We want to have more community. We want to have that. We have to change this. We have to change the idea, and we need more. We have to support you guys. Do you know why? Because you need support. You need to be heard. That way you can have sponsors. That way you can travel. That way this sport can, like in Europe. Maybe you was here racing against the guys here in Europe, and the guys in Europe was very happy to have you here. And that way you have the money for that. You don't have to go to your private life. And I know how
Yeah,
difficult. That's why I tell if you have a channel and you have the chance to promote this guys, do it, my friends. Don't think about the clicks. Think about doing something good for the community. I feel good,
100
and I'm making you
100%
feel
agree.
good.
Yeah,
You
I mean
understand?
the way I look at it, we're kind of at the precipice of this turning into something significant. You know, kind of like motocross was in the 60s and early 70s before this movie came out called Any Other Sunday or something like that. And it just inspired a bunch of people all around the country to ride dirt bikes and motorcycles and stuff and race and it was kind of like uh, um, that's kind of where we are now. And you get we're either going to break out and be super successful, or some of these are just going to fade out. But we got to attend and show up and support. And um, you know, I enjoy it because it's gives me something to look forward to from a physical perspective. I'll eat a little bit better and exercise a little bit more, and because I know I'm going to have to push myself against people a lot younger than I, um, and in a
And
lot of
maybe you
ways a
have
lot
the
more
pleasure to
capable.
beat them. Maybe you can have the pleasure to beat them and say we are not old, huh? We are not
Sure.
old enough.
Yes. Yes.
We are still there. We have white hair, but
Yeah.
that doesn't mean that we cannot be. I have a little less because I have 3 years less than you. But in 3 years, I'm going to be. But I love my hair and I love your hair. We look nice, my friend. Now going to I want to make some
Hey,
questions.
we got a drop in special guest right here. Hey, Euro Insta,
Hey,
my
that was
UC
the
journey.
biggest. Hey, that was the biggest interview of this channel.
Brother, I thought I was gonna stop by and say hi.
How
Hey,
are you, my friend?
you're not taking over the interview.
No, 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 no,
That's,
my friend. The interview with him was close to 4 hours.
I was gonna say hi.
Yeah, Euro can talk.
He's a so wonderful person, my friend. That was
He's
the
the
biggest
best.
interview of this channel. There is no one who beat him. Close to 4 hours.
I think he was actually at my house, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
No one who beat him. Close to 4 hours.
Yeah.
So now I want to make some. I want to make some. I want to know now about James. That is important for us to know. I have some questions from some persons, and of course, I'm not going to put names, but I want to say, my friend, first question to you: what do you love more about AUCs, the James Darnell? What make you the AUCs so special for you?
Um, I mean, it's been life changing. I don't know how else to say it. I look through my phone and I have before EUC and after EUC. Um, it's been, from a mental aspect, from a stress relief. Um, I essentially work in some sort of engineering or technical marketing sales sort of capacity for Intel for almost 20 years, and then for another AI server company for the last 7 or 8.
Hmm.
So sometimes I just need to clear my head from technical jargon and the BS and stress of sales cycles and crap like that. And uh, I'm
That
fortunate
make possible.
to work from home. So during some of these meetings, I pop on my headphones and do a loop around the neighborhood or around we got a great network of bike trails and stuff like that. So I don't have to do anything crazy. Um, and during midday, it's usually pretty empty. I could riff pretty good. So just that whole mental, the Indians call it wind therapy. Um, it's helped me to not drink alcohol. Um,
Very, very good, my
I
friend.
I mean I was at a point where I was drinking at least 6 days a week,
Mm.
at least a handful of beers, IPAs, and high
Hmm.
octane stuff. I was brewing my own. I always had it on tap, and uh, now I'm maybe one beer every once in a while out with friends, or we'll
Hmm.
stop and have some food, and I'll have a pint. I'm not gonna completely teetotal, but
Hmm.
uh, EUCs get the credit for like all of that stuff.
That
The
is very nice.
camaraderie, the friendships, the everything we've talked about with our family. Especially now that my wife is more comfortable riding. Um, you know, we
That was the next question.
we're loading the
How
travel trailer and go into events together and stuff. It's it's going to be a great way for us to like kind of ease into whatever retirement looks like. So
that is the next question that the people have here. The next question, I always try to leave questions for the people to have the chance to communicate with the person who comes here to the interview. And for you was lots of questions. I was very sometimes we don't have too much, but for you was lots good questions.
okay,
My friend, family, Darnell, uh, tell us how is everybody electric? How can you describe this beautiful family? Because I see already here lots of persons from John Darnell, Melinda. Let me see,
Melissa,
Melissa Darnell, Zach Darnell, James Darnell. Tell us
sure.
how is
So
this family, this beautiful family?
put it this way: Uncle John and Aunt Melissa are actually here visiting right now. They attended Shred Fest 5 with us this
Uh-huh.
past weekend. The crash video.
Hmm.
Um,
One of the best events we have.
Amazing. I highly recommend. Um, they're going to come with us to Electrify Race League in LA. Um, and then they're going to drive, and they live in upstate New York outside of Buffalo.
Hmm.
So they're going to drive to Bentonville, Arkansas again this year. They attended last year, so they got bit by the EUC bug as well, and they're huge supporters, and we are appreciative of their support.
Yes, my next question is to you, my friend. What do you love more, James? What do you love more, big wheels or small wheels, or what's the difference for you, and how can you describe it? 6 inch, 20 inch, 22 inch. The monster was the biggest ones. I don't know
Sure.
which ones do you. What is for you the best ones for you, and why? That's the question.
Yeah, definitely the larger wheels. The small ones, I sometimes forget that I'm on a V8 and I try to over torque it or something, and I've been bit by some of the smaller wheels just because you expect them to have the capability. So even if I'm walking my dog, I mean the smallest wheel I would use is an extreme.
Okay.
So um, I think it's also a good idea to, in order to get really comfortable on your wheels. Um, I'll walk my dog with all my racing wheels,
Hmm.
just so I can rock back and forth while she's doing her thing. And when I do dog walks, I don't put my foot down the entire time, so that I get some exercise too. Because there's always a person that says, "You're just standing there. Why don't you why don't you run with your dog? Why don't you get some exercise?"
Hmm.
But as you all know, to stand still or to rock back and forth in a pendulum takes a little bit of energy.
Hmm.
It takes more energy than riding at a casual speed. If you think about it.
Okay. So, what you, James Darnell, love with what James Darnell love to see in the future of the races of the AUCs? Do you want to see more ladies, more different categories? What is for you that you see that is missing, or maybe could be changed? Because you, as so many races, you have seen a lot from the outside and inside. How can you? What you think? Is anything
Well,
that you think is can be upgraded or change it?
I've been asking for an over 50 category since my first race and still haven't
Okay.
got that. Yes, but seriously, just more involvement. I want to see the TLT family kids. I want to see Nadia, the UC girl. I want to see this younger generation come up and just blow away all of our track records and make us all look like what were you people thinking? Because there's you know I've already raced against somebody who was one fourth my age,
Hmm.
right? Um, they're coming up with no fear, and they've been on these things, during their formative years, so to say. They're going to have a huge advantage over all of us that learn these as adults. That's
Yeah,
just a fact.
I agree,
And,
100%, my
and yeah, so I'm excited to see the younger generation come up and just do crazy stuff with these things,
friend. Hmm.
um, before they get too automated and too dumbed down. Because I see them either going into a restricted, abandoned category where you really have to have your own property to ride them, or they get to a point where it's kind of like I can't kick it over if I wanted to.
Hmm.
So I'm less likely to fall off it unless I'm, you know, just unable to stand upright. So
My
I,
friend, we need more persons like you, my friend. James, I think lots of people sometimes don't know the good people we have in this sport, and the people who wants to see something better. Was lots of persons who communicate with me because of you. because of this interview, and
Oh, cool.
was lots of people who make me send me so beautiful message about you, and I was very believe me, I have lots of interviews here, but seeing the people okay, now the channel is growing more and more, and we are seeing that the people are more interested in the lives, but I can tell you, was not just because of that, was because I see lots of people wants to ask you some questions, and the other question, and I think most of them was beautiful, was more personal to see you as a rider, and I think that is beautiful. They don't put why the father from Zach, why the father from that. They put you as a racer, as a rider, and I think that is nice. The other question is the person, what do you like more, racing street or off-road or trails or technical? I'm going to put technical. Technical is not there, but uh, what is for you, my friend, that you like more and why?
I okay. Um, I appreciate the challenges of both, and the skill sets are slightly different between the two for sure. Um, we started out on dirt, and for me, the only time we didn't ride dirt was when we were going from trail to trail, and you had to ride on some streets to get to those other trails. So it wasn't until my very first ABS that I even had a street tire on the wheel, and it was that race and that moment that made me have an appreciation of that. So I'll always have both, but I'm gonna lean towards dirt because for example, the segments we did at Shredfest were like between blue squares and black diamonds, and we just did time segments. Um, this year, normally it's a head to head matchup, and just for safety concerns and for the coordination of the race, we just did segments. Uh, I love challenging yourself on a single track where you've got these obstacles and things that you don't really have a chance to memorize,
Mhm.
like a track where you have entry angles and breaking points, and you're looking for apexes and exit points, and through repetition you learn the track, and then you get faster and faster and faster. That's great. With single track, you don't have an opportunity for that. So I think you you just have to let your mind be like open to the option that you're going to have to take an alternate path. It, every microsecond, you're reanalyzing the terrain and trying to figure out if your tire is going to have grip on that surface, and if you need to jump or re-weight the wheel in a certain way. I mean, it's just you know that level of challenge, and then do I pop this jump and clear the next one, right? You just don't get that on a flat surface or a paved surface.
Do you think, my friend, now I will put my question in the middle of this, that you are like more all terrains? Do you think we need more power and more voltage for us to achieve this big jumpers and everything, to go to another level? Because I'm seeing now lots of videos coming, the people making these big jumps like motocross and everything. Do you think we need a little more cells, more uh, 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 voltage to come to that point, or you think we are already there?
Yeah, I think historically we needed to get a little bit more power, a little bit more energy delivery from the cells through the controller, um, to give us some headroom. I think we've got headroom now for most people, right? There's very few people that are like Brian who are going to go 74 miles per hour at 100% PWM, right? And do it for the sake of testing, right? So I think just like any technology, we're going to continue to evolve, and it will go regardless of what I want, or what I think. Just because 200 is going to be a magic number that sells more than 168,
Hmm.
right? And then 200 and something will sell more than 200. And, so we'll always be buying the next best thing. Um,
But the
I think
big question
having
for
more
me,
having more redundancy and more safety and quality serviceability, I think, is something that really hasn't been addressed very much by most of the vendors out there, right?
up,
I, I want I want something toolless so I can change a
okay,
tire,
okay,
right? Like you can on a bicycle, right?
okay.
But
I'm going to
we
make two
should be able to
questions in
do
the
that.
same ones. I'm going to make two questions in the same one. My big question is bringing the big voltage can bring more cutouts. We have to be very careful where we're going to go with the voltage. We have to think that safety has to be very important for that too. Not just bring big machines and then you don't have the rest there. You have to bring all the package, and if you need more voltage you need more batteries. The batteries has to be bigger, it's going to be heavier. We have to be maybe another technology of cells, because we are coming to very heavy boards. The boards are very heavy today. When you see most of them, for you to go to that voltage you need the cells, or you're going to get cutouts, because he's going to say the juice is not going to be there, and he's going to say okay, that was enough, and he's going to cut out. And that's what we have to be very careful. Or they have to prepare machines just for a race, 200 volts, but just made for one race. That's the
Yeah,
question always.
yeah, we can definitely save some weight, but I think once you start to give up some redundancy, it becomes kind of a safety issue, right? I mean, we already have a single point of contact with the ground, right? There's no redundancy there, so I want I want extra BMS. I want extra sensors, and just uh, we do it in other technologies. We do it in servers, right?
Hmm.
Anything can be unplugged pretty much in a server, and your financial transactions are still going to go through, right? It just finds a way to reroute and reheal itself. Uh, the
I
wheels
think
should be
he's
no different.
I think he's telling something. I think he's very good, and I agree with him. I think we need more, less for more less cutouts. The voltage has to increase. Eh, it's okay. I can understand that too. But we need safety. To do something is not just to make the wheel. We have to be very aware. Do you think we're going to see in the future more DIY guys that are racing, changing the AUCs?
Like Declan, Godmod, um, and there's a few others out there already doing that. Showing up with a wheel that looks like an RS, but there's no RS in there, right?
There's
So
nothing inside.
yeah, um,
Thank you so
yeah.
much,
I think especially
Bartek.
within manufacturers, because there's so much cross compatibility. I mean, we're already doing that. I mean, one of my favorite race wheels up to this point was essentially um, um, it was a master chassis and batteries with an EX30 controller and a C40 motor,
Hmm.
and that combination worked really well, especially on shorter tracks.
Hmm.
Um, but 134 essentially got usurped by 168, right? And I
Hmm.
can't. I actually tried to race that at Tough Atlantic because they cut the track in half, and I figure, okay, this is a more nimble wheel that I'm very comfortable with. Um, and I think it's always a good idea to race the wheel that you're more comfortable with.
Yeah, I
Um,
think too. Do you think? Do
I've
you?
I've been burned by racing the faster wheel that you're not less comfortable with. That's
Do,
that's
do, you
that's where
thi-
some of those crash videos are coming from.
do you think it's important for us as riders, as racers, the guys who race, to don't change too much of the machine you are riding, or because I know lots of people who makes like the track with one machine and then goes to another one, and then when they change it, it's totally different, and they cannot do the same times, and they cannot do the same that they do like with the other. You think we need to concentrate in one machine for that races?
Well, no, I think the smart racer is adapting the wheel and to the track and the conditions. What even if it's tire type or pressure or um, suspension settings and things like that. We could raise and lower pedals. We can, you know, I, some people even lock out their suspension, things like that. So people are doing all kinds of things to try to give them an advantage. I've seen people uh, glue and tape weights on different parts. I've seen hand weights. Zach experimented with some hand weights um, to, you know, just try to help you, throw your weight around a little bit quicker.
Hmm.
Um, so it's not just the wheels. I mean, we're part of this, the whole equation of, so the things on our bodies, you know, are starting to have an effect too. And aerodynamics and wind resistance is becoming an issue. You've got that. It's going to take 4 times as much energy to go the next 10 miles per hour, sort of, rule. So, um, and we're getting up into the low to mid 70s right now, in as you guys are seeing.
So,
So,
my
so
friend, I have some. I don't
crazy.
want to make this video very big, but I want to. I have some. I don't want to leave the questions from the persons, but you are a person who rides every day.
My dog gets me out at least once a day. Yes, rain or shine.
You blame your dog now.
I give her credit. I mean, she loves the UCs as much as us. I mean, you've probably seen some videos of her, and
Mhm,
if you go to my links,
mhm.
yeah, she's been on the In Motion ad recently that Zach did, uh, and some of our other makes games.
There you are, my friend. I cannot listen to you, my friend. The sound is out. Hello,
You there?
hello. Yeah, now you are there.
Hey, you there?
Yeah,
Okay,
I could not listen to you.
my bad. Someone tried calling.
Okay, so here is the video from you going with is in his Instagram, and I'm going to leave his Instagram, his Facebook, and of course his new channel that is coming now out. That we're going to have lots of videos in Facebook. So then go there, subscribe, give a nice like, and uh, that way you can see the content from them. Uh, my friend, your dog is one of the person, but I think your family too. Uh, for you, that is the other question. If you are not putting no company in bad situation, if there is a person who said this, and the question is like this: if you are today a person who just wants to chill, ride, and enjoy the world of AUC, what AUC do you advise them to buy it in 2025? And the second question, I put the two of them together because that is two questions, but different persons. And for another person is if I'm a guy who wants to go update and go to another level and make jumps, what machine and suspension do you recommend for me as a guy who wants to go trails and jump? That is the two questions: starter and going to trails and have a good suspension. That
Sure,
is from two persons. I don't give no names. I think that is important. If anyone wants to give the name, I will in the next ones I will put the names. But till this moment, nobody give me the authorization, and I don't want to put nobody in a bad position.
sure. Um, So for the everyday casual rider, um, I think you got a lot of choices, and you could even start out in the used market
Okay.
to make sure that you know kind of get your skill set together and kind of crash a wheel that had already been crashed a couple times. But you really can't go wrong with any of the newer generation wheels, um, from a safety perspective because they have gotten better. Um, through all of us doing the testing on your behalf in some cases. Uh, so something like a V4, I would first of all definitely get something with suspension,
Hmm.
right? Because I think that uh, it's just you're going to be happier in the long run. Your knees will thank you, regardless of how old or young you are. Um, In Motion has got some really good build quality, but Begode has such a good selection that you could easily resell and grow into something else, something a little bit bigger down the road. But I think I would start out more like um, you know you can do something smaller like a Begode Future, or even up to like a T4 Extreme size wheel. I think would be great for casual rider where you're not lifting something super heavy. You're not lifting a 88 plus pound wheel. Um, where the extreme starts to get into the higher end of that. But for the rider that wants to do the jumps and the trails and all that stuff, we've been having a blast on our ones on our X-Way Pros. The torque on those is insane. It's somewhat stable in the air from a jumping perspective. Um, a lot of people are happy with like the links and that type of a wheel as well for that type of scenario. Um, but yeah, Zach raced the X Way. I raced the X Way uh, off road. Uh, a lot of people that did well had bigger wheels like that. So
Yeah. Okay. You have something very special. You have something, Darnell team. Hands, the touch of the hands. So my friend, I don't want to
and
make this video too big, but I have to put all the questions here. So uh what is the plans for you guys this year, for 2025, in the world of PVs, of course?
yeah. Well, um, we already mentioned we've been to a couple events from Eastgate Con. Unfortunately, that coincided with Let It Ride, and off road event that we like to attend in a similar area. Um, Tef1 Atlantic we've been to. We've been to the first Electrify. Um, we're going to go again this weekend. We've got Northwest Electric Fest coming up. I already mentioned Shred Fest was this past weekend. Um, Malaysia's coming up later in the year. I hope
Do you
that
going to go to
you're,
Malaysia? Is planned
of,
for you to go?
of course,
Maybe this year we're going to
yeah.
see each other, because I am planning to do the same
I,
too.
I was just going to ask if we're going to meet in person.
Yes, I
Good.
was very sad that last year I could not be. I was other friends from Belgium there. I was not able, but this year is one thing I'm planning, because I have
I've
to see
met
what.
your other friends from Belgium. We, David it was the only other person that was older than me there racing,
David is
and
crazy, but he has a big heart, my friend.
and a unique, boisterous laugh that you can just distinguish no matter where he is. Right, he's there if you hear him. Together we brought over 109 years of life experience to that
Mhm,
event. So
mhm.
next year we're hoping to bring 111.
Next year, no, this year.
Or this coming year we'll be bringing 111 years of life
Yeah, I'm going
experience
to. I'm one
to share with you all.
99%. I'm coming this time. was not possible, but is one of the events that I'm not going to miss this year. And because I want to see lots of persons, lots of people I want to meet in person, uh, and we will see. My friend, uh, I want to thank you so much for coming here to show a little more about you. I want to make a second turn again with you, maybe next year or something like that. I think you have lot to bring to the table. I think you have maybe we can speak about more technical things. I think you have the knowledge of that, not the James, but the James DIY. And I think it's good for the community to listen about that. Today was more about you. I think you have achieved something very good for all of us. Thank you so much for bringing your kids in this beautiful world. I hope that I can change a little more my kids. I already have it a little, but we are going in the right direction, and I think that is an amazing sport. But before I want to make another question. Do you think we need more sponsors for this? Do you think that is the key of having more races?
Yeah. And kudos to people like Seth and E Ride Life who are out there getting us exposure at events like King of the Hammer and other types of venues where they do have big sponsors, and they started out small like us, and a lot of them are adopting us with open arms, right? Right now a lot of our events are tag along events, right? We're racing alongside the e-skaters, or we're racing alongside the one wheelers, right? And they've got sponsors and they've got vendor booths and things like that are making those events happen. The EUC only events aren't as popular and prevalent. So yeah, the more and it can't just be a distributor sponsorship, right? Or these manufacturers hopefully are stepping up and creating their own race teams, and uh, you know more more than just the people within the community sponsoring each other. You know what I mean? It's got to be some corporate money, all right?
I'm going to make you a question, my friend. You don't have to answer. Normally, this question was to be in private, but you just answer if you want. We're going to see maybe in the future, maybe AUC created by the family Darnell, the first
You know,
American AUC, maybe to
I
race or something like that.
I actually drew up a lot of designs. So if I can get the time and the gumption together at one place, yeah, I've got an idea that I just don't understand why we haven't tried or approached it yet. But um,
That will be
it it
wonderful, my friend.
could make the difference. Yeah, and I'll leave that teaser for the next interview.
Yes, my friend. I
I
just want to say, don't forget in America, this A skate are so big because of Moe creating this machine to racing, and that's why he's growing more and more and more in Europe. Lots of machines from him is selling here, and maybe if you guys can create something like that in America, I think it's going to be maybe not for normal, but for racing or something like that. Is something that I think is going to be very good for the community and very good for the people who love to race. We're going to leave that to the next interview. Surprise,
Yeah,
surprise. Maybe we will see. Maybe you
and
can come with something very special for us, and I will be very happy.
look out for Zach. If he gets his hand on one of those Mo Bigs boards, he'll give Mario a run for his money. He's really good at that, and you know, I think
Yeah,
he
but
could
we
be
need.
another dual sport racer.
But don't forget about that. Huh? Mario has one thing very special that Darnell has the same thing. They love the sport and they love the community, and they do it for love.
And
Mario is one of, yeah,
they're
both
both
of
pretty
them.
good people. Yep.
Yes, my friend. And that's what we need. If you want to achieve something in life, be humble, love your community, take care of them, and they take care of you. Believe me, the two of them, they are good in good direction. And you, my friend, believe me, I never see so many people make me so many questions to a guy here in an interview. you've been with Maximal. I have more questions, but that I'm going to leave to the next one. I think is more technical. Thank you so much for coming here. Roger, don't forget, I'm waiting for your answer to come here too, my friend. Uh, I just want to say thank you so much for coming here. Like always, I leave you with the last words for the community. Will be the most pleasure to meet you and your family in person. And don't stop doing what you are doing. I hope that this world has helped you to change in a better way. Has helped me a lot. And today I have a new friend, and I'm very happy to have the pleasure to know you. Now I understand why the people love you so much. You are very special, and you are a person who I would love to sit and have a nice conversation. I think I would learn a lot from you. Thank you so much, my friend. And
Thank
I leave you with the last words for everybody's going to see this video now or later on.
Yeah. Well, thank you for those, not only for those kind words, but for everything that you're doing for the community. And like I said before, giving people a voice that are out there and not necessarily the the most views on social media and things like that. And just uh, you know, if I could say anything to everyone out there, is keep supporting each other and showing up at these events, because it not only makes this grow um, into something that I think we'll look back on with pride that we were part of in the early beginnings, but it makes you a better writer, uh, to ride alongside people that are doing things that you haven't even thought of doing, and attempting and pushing each other, and uh, you're going to meet a lot of great people in the process, and just make your life a little bit better, a little bit more enriched, and just keep on doing what you can to help others to learn this sport, and you know keep it growing.
My friend, thank you so much. Don't forget, my friends, we are doing lots of interviews. It's going to come other persons to make interviews, not just me. We want to make this as a multi culture. Is going to be another person doing in Spanish. Sometimes it's going to happen. That's going to be because the international Spanish community are making lots of races with the AUCs and electro PVs, and we want to put them on the spot. And the French guys are doing a lot in France too. We want to put them to here. That's why we're going to put some interviews in French, in Spanish. Of course, it's going to be a subtitle. You can then see in your language. But I think that is a good way for us to put this sport on the top. In the end, it's going to be 4 or 5 or 6 persons making interviews here, not just me. And the important thing is to send the message there, and we need sponsors. If you know anyone who has a company and he don't know what to do with his money, we can help him a little. Just to
Yeah,
grow this beautiful community.
and with a loyal fan base. I mean, people that are in the community tend to buy from those sponsors at a pretty alarming rate, pretty high rate. So there's definitely truth to that. And to touch on what you just said, we don't you kind of have to go out of your way to get exposure to international racing and events, and even videos and stuff like that on YouTube. So yeah, you're helping to bridge that gap with us in the U.S. and the people that are in other countries. And I know that Spain has a lot of great stuff. I've seen a lot of Zen's videos and things like that. So
Yes,
um,
Spain is very strong, but you have to think. Go to Argentina, Brazil. Now they are starting to make the
exactly,
races too. Huh?
I was just gonna say,
Yeah, yeah. And I
yeah,
was here with them in interview, and Sophie, lots of good riders. They are coming now, and there is a big battle from Brazil and Argentina. That is always something, and now they are making lots of races, and that is very good. Why not make a big world race?
and I hope they have enough time to get to save their monies, and to plan to attend and race in Malaysia, so that we can all kind of
See
get
us there.
together and see how everybody stacks. 'Cause I have to admit, I was super surprised to see Southern California, but specifically the U.S., dominated the race in China, and I expected to see a lot more local competition, and there were some definitely good racers from other countries up there too. Don't get me wrong, but when you look at that final
I
on
would
the
love to
road
see you
course,
guys riding against the Spanish guys. They are
uh,
Spanish guys and Czech
they
Republic.
look
They are very fast too, and I think that will be a
exactly.
fantastic, good promote for all of us to see. I'm trying to get
Mhm.
a way for us to bring money to bring these riders to the USA, maybe for them to go, maybe for one or two races against you guys, for us to show that this is growing. And I know there is another other guys in Australia that I would love to see them there too. And I think that way we can grow this, not just a race of American guys, USA, but international altogether. That way we're going to see more and more people seeing this sport internationally. And I think that is the key, is bringing all of us together and bringing the world together and showing that these events are, these races and everything are international and big, and see more kids, more ladies interacting and starting to race too. I think that is very important too, that they are the future. That's why I recommend to everybody, go there, go to the events, sponsor them, leave a little money there, make a box for extra money to help them. Do whatever you can to make the sport bigger. For you, my friend, thank you so much for coming. And just to answer to Roger, yes, we can make a live stream there. Of course, if I'm going to Malaysia, I will make a live stream with everybody I know here in the interviews, and I will be a pleasure to talk with all of you. But I want to enjoy with you, most of them. Not, I'm not going there to. I want to see friends that I made in the media, but I never see them personally. And that's my intention, is to see them, to talk with them in person. That is my intention. Interviews we can always make. That is not a problem. But if we can see that there, the important, I prefer to sit, have a drink, eat something, know you in person, know you a little better, because eye to eye is always different than with the camera. Thank you so
Totally
much, my
agree.
friend.
Thanks
Say
for
hello
having
to
me
your
on.
family. You have a beautiful family. You are amazing. Don't stop doing what you are doing. You deserve it, my friend. You are
And
very, very special.
and
Bye
good
bye.
luck prying your kids away from the screens. Get them
I
out
will,
there.
I will try, my friend.